Hey, it's Ryan, 97.7 QLZ. Kind of a surprise. Last interview we've got here in 2024, Matty Mullins from Memphis Mayfire. Sir, how you doing?
Doing awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And I know this is you've been doing a ton of interviews today and chatted with you. You're in your studio. Also, asked you before, but can you introduce us to the guest behind you as well? Want to make sure that
Yeah,
that your guest is part of this.
that's Chappie Mullins right there.
Okay.
And he is one of two. I've got Goose and Chappie, and they're awesome, dude.
Okay. Awesome. What kind of dogs are they?
Chappie is a Cavapoo and Goose is a Cockapoos. They're both about 20 pounds each.
Okay. That's awesome. Like I told you, my hound might be running on in here, but you guys have a bunch of stuff coming up with Memphis Mayfire. You're going to Australia next year, new record next year of Shapeshifter. Hell is Empty is the new track right now. It's been in across stations across the country. But I got to ask you because I might have to buy myself a Christmas gift. You guys have your own hot sauce
Oh,
that just
man.
came out a couple weeks ago. So how this come about and was this your creation or kind of how this all come about?
So our drummer was connected with the guy at the company called Sauce Bay, who we
Mhm.
collabed with for it. The idea came up like a few years ago, and we started going through samples and just kept tweaking it, man. I mean, I am a big foodie. It's a
Okay,
big deal to me. So, and I'm a huge hot sauce guy. I mean,
nice.
I put hot sauce on everything. I don't eat cereal, but if I did, I'd
Okay.
put hot sauce on it, right? So we went back and forth a lot until it was exactly what I was looking for. And I will say, it's probably a little too hot for the average consumer, but I didn't want something that I wouldn't like,
Yeah.
you know? And so it's hot, dude. It's got real heat to it. Habaneros, it's green. It's like more on the verde side, but it's hot and it is really good. I would say there is not a single thing I've found that I don't love it on, from
Okay.
pizza to pasta to whatever, dude. It's
Awesome.
really good.
I was gonna ask you like what's your favorite things to put it on?
I mean, I'm a big Mexican food guy, but
Okay.
it's like if you start thinking outside the box, there's really nothing that it's not great on.
Okay. Even pasta.
Even pasta. I mean,
Okay.
dude, I put hot sauce on everything.
Okay. As an Italian, I've never ever done that. I've put some red pepper flake in my spaghetti sauce before, but I've never actually done hot sauce.
Yeah, I mean, you
So I'm
find
gonna,
the right hot sauce, you start putting that in your spaghetti
all right.
sauce. Woo,
I'm gonna,
dude,
I'm gonna,
it's
I'm gonna,
crazy.
like I said, I have to get myself something for Christmas. Everybody else is taken care of for the year. I'm gonna have to get some for myself and then put a little bit in the spaghetti sauce and see how it goes. So you got all
Yeah, you might want to grab two, man. It's that good.
good. You got all your holiday shopping done for everybody?
You know what? I usually am pretty involved with that. But this year my wife has done the majority of it.
Nice.
I joined another band recently as well. So I
Mhm.
sing for a band called Anberlin now on top of Memphis Mayfire, and it's just been a very, very busy season. So there's a handful of things taking the back seat. Christmas shopping was one of those.
I want to ask you that later on, kind of with you stepping up for Amberlin, you're on a couple of the tracks that they for the recent album that they just put out. What's it been like balancing both bands? Obviously, you guys have a ton of stuff coming up in 2025 for Memphis. So how's it been kind of balancing both these bands and Amberlin's been around for a while.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I mean, the schedule is insane, and I didn't really have any sort of like timeline of like, well, this is how long I'll do this for,
Hmm.
and just getting involved. It's like a whole nother group of dudes that I love with all my heart, and musicians that I look up to and respect, and I am giving them all of me the way that I do Memphis, and so. I know there was that joke going around for a little bit about me having a clone, and it's like
Okay.
I really wish that was true, because it is wild, the schedule, but it's both of them are things I love and things I'm honored to do, and so I'm just going balls to the wall, man.
That's awesome. How'd that kind of come about then? Like, have you been a fan of Amberlin since, I think like, God, dude, I know you're I think a little bit younger than I am. So like Amberlin was like big when I was in high school, like back in like,
Yeah.
mid 2000s. So were you a fan of them kind of growing up as well?
Yep. Yeah, I graduated in 2006, so I mean, same kind of time
Mm.
frame, and in my sophomore high school photo, I'm wearing an Anne Boleyn
Oh,
shirt.
nice.
So it's cool, man. It's a really cool opportunity. And their singer Steven had reached out to me and kind of out of the blue just said, I need to take a step back and wondering if you might step in. And I
Mhm.
just, it was so unexpected and so crazy. And honestly, there's not many bands that I would have said yes to. But this was something that I knew it just felt meant to be, and it's very cool. Steven knows and their fan base knows at any moment, if he wanted to come back,
Yeah.
he'd be welcomed with open arms. But for the time being, I'm doing it all, man. We're recording right now and everything, so it's
Oh
full
wow,
blown.
that's awesome. So I want to bring this up because you brought up anytime Steven wants to come back, and I feel like there's so many stories out there where some people leave bands. Sometimes it's not the greatest of terms. There's drama. There's other stuff going on. But just like how nice is it? Where your guys in Memphis Mayfire understand what's going on. The guys in Anberlin welcoming you with open arms. Just how nice is it just to have like this big positive reaction to being able to help guys fill in that you care a lot about, and but saying, hey, it's like anytime he wants to come back, Steven, come on back. So kind of just like, I guess, just the overall positivity of like being able to fill in, but knowing everybody's on good terms.
It's definitely a positive situation, man. Yeah, it's very cool. And I wouldn't have done it otherwise. I definitely, Memphis is busy and we are the
Hmm.
biggest we've ever been right now, statistically across the board. So I
Hmm.
was not looking for a second band
Yeah.
to join. And I love Steven and I love those guys. And so it seemed like, at the same time that it was an opportunity for me to step in and just help them keep going, it's also like a full circle childhood dream
Yeah.
come true kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very awesome. So just it made sense on, on multiple levels, and I'm happy to be here doing it. And yeah, I mean, it's positive vibes all around. We just played in Tampa 2 nights ago, and Steven came out and sang with me for a song.
Sweet.
So it's cool, man. It's a very cool scenario.
That's good. I always feel like, people leave bands, so people come in, and it's, there's always the rift in there. So it's just nice getting those positive stories overall. And I think those ones are always worth sharing because I think people always need to hear them, which kind of leads me into, Hell is Empty, because it's a song that I know you've shared some stuff about and quoting on it and kind of what inspired it, what it means to you, because things are rather wild out there in the world right now. But like, what's something that you would want our listeners to know about this song? It's a track that's doing really well for us here on QLZ. And what would you like to share about the track with our listeners?
That's awesome, man. Well, first and foremost, just thank you
Mhm.
for giving 3 minutes of your
Yeah.
life to listening to that song. It's so cool to know that people are enjoying it. Yeah, I think it's no secret that we're living in really intense times. And I just think, the idea of hell being this faraway place and demons being locked underneath the ground in this fiery abyss, it's like in reality, man, evil is all around us. And we are seeing that and dealing with that on a day-to-day basis. And so it's originally a Shakespeare quote, hell
Okay.
is empty, the devils are here. And it just felt right for the time, and it felt symbolic to something that a lot of people I think are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I think the song is relevant to the time that we live in, and honestly, to a lot of different time frames. But yeah, it's a special one to us, and we're really excited to bring it in live.
And I like the album Shapeshifter because I know you guys have released a ton of singles from this, and I know it's kind of the world we live in right now with the industry, and you got to get a lot of music out there. But I feel like the more I've listened to the songs that are on there, I feel like Shapeshifter is kind of the perfect name for this album because chaotic is out there. I feel like you can kind of dance to chaotic. You can kind of, really kind of groove. I mean, I'm not going to dance because nobody wants to see it, but like, chaotic is, really upbeat and everything. Shapeshifter, the title track, I mean, it just smacks you literally right in the face, and just hits you. So was the idea to call this album Shapeshifter kind of like what people should expect on the album? Because I feel like a bunch of the songs you guys have released, they've all got a different vibe, a different feel to them.
Yeah, I mean, from a musical standpoint, it's definitely the most eclectic record that we've ever made. There's something for everybody on it. So it works. The title works in that regard. Also, just thematically, it's very much a raw and honest emotional album. And I would say, as humans, especially in the time that we live in, we are dealing with so much of feeling like we have to hide certain aspects of who we are, or not be fully honest
Mhm.
about who we really are, just to be accepted or to be loved. And I think that we all wear masks in one way or another. And the more we can become comfortable with ourselves and see ourselves as lovable and acceptable and be proud of who we are at our core, even if that means that things need to change, the fact that we recognize that and that we're working towards that, it's a beautiful part of the human existence. And it's just it's a wild ride, man, the record through and through. And it felt like Shapeshifter really did encompass the whole record.
And March 28th is when it's out. And what you guys have done as well, and I know a couple of bands have done this, not a whole lot, but some people put out the instrumentals. I got to give you guys props too, because there's a cappella versions of
Yeah.
these songs. So kind of, just tell me about that, like the idea to put those out there and share those as well, because I've never heard a metalcore song in such an interesting way with Shapeshifter.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I think that a good majority or a good portion of our fan base are aspiring musicians themselves. So, on one hand, we thought it would be really cool to see people take the vocal stems and remix them or,
Mhm.
write different riffs over it, things like that. Another piece to that is when the vocals are isolated like that, people can really hear how I layer vocals, how we
Mhm.
produce vocals, and just giving people insight into how we do that so that they can mimic it and try things themselves and hopefully have awesome fruitful music careers and it felt like a really cool transparent way to say like here is literally every aspect of the
Mhm.
album and we hope it inspires you so
I know it was cool. I was scrolling through doing research before, and it's like, okay, I know there's a couple singles I want to make sure I listen to before you and I chat today and kind of refresh my brain on them. I was like, wait, there's acapella stuff on here. I was like,
yeah.
this has to get listened to, as well. What's it like been releasing? By the way, like you guys have put out a ton of albums since like 2009. You guys, this is like the eighth record you guys have coming up in like 15 years. You guys have not slowed down. Remade in Misery was 2022. Um, What's it been like putting out so many singles from this record? I know the industry is very different now than what it was, 5 years ago, but what's it been like, getting so much music out there from this album before it's even, 3 months before it's released?
Yeah, I mean, that was the format that we went with for the last record, Remade in Misery, as well. By the time that album came out, there was only two songs remaining to be heard.
Okay.
And honestly, there's two parts of it. You deal with a lot of kind of like flack in the comments, people being like, why do you keep releasing singles? Just release the album.
Hmm.
Um, at the same time, seeing how things have rolled out and how every song has its own life, its own spotlight, its own moment. It makes me wish that we would have released every single album we've ever made that way. There's so many songs that would be considered deep cuts that just didn't get playlisted
Hmm.
or they didn't become a single, they didn't go to radio, things like that that shine a lot of light on songs. And it's like, well, if we wrote songs that were meant to be B-sides or songs that were just kind of fillers or whatever, then I guess the album format makes sense. But to us, every song that is on this record and on the last record meant so much to us that it didn't feel right just lumping it in with a body of work when we know how music
Hmm.
is being consumed today. So much of how music is being consumed is DSPs and playlisting and things that make it so that one song really is the only opportunity to have a spotlight at a time. And so we are going about it this route, flack or no flack, and we are really stoked about it. And honestly, like I don't see us doing it differently ever again.
Okay. Is there more of a sense of pride now that like you said, if you wanted deep cuts, you wanted B-sides, is there like some more pride now from you guys as a band to be like, you know what? People are consuming songs that mean a lot to us, even if they're not the song that's going to radio. You guys feel more pride now, maybe as a band?
It's cool. I don't know if I would describe it as pride.
Okay.
More so, I would just say like you might feel less pressure sitting down to write a song if you already had your three or four singles in the bag and you're just trying to finish up a record for the
Okay.
label. For us, every time we sit down, we want it to be a meaningful experience, something that we're making that we hope does something for us and in turn does something for our listeners. And so it's more so it's a respect thing. We respect each and every song on the record as if it's going to be its own single. And that's a good place for us to be. It's a good headspace for us to be in.
That's awesome. Now, 2025 again, March 28th, the new record's out. You guys have a bunch of touring next year. The one that kind of caught my eye, and obviously I won't be able to go there because it's in Australia, but you guys are teaming up with the Atreyu, 20th
Yeah.
anniversary for them. Just kind of how exciting is it to team up with Atreyu, head to Australia, and just do a bunch of shows with those guys?
It's cool, man. Yeah, we did a co-headliner with them in the States, and so to go over and do a co-headliner with them in Straya is awesome, man. It's been a long time. We haven't been to Australia in
Okay.
10 years.
Okay.
So it's just one of those markets that it's so far away,
Yeah.
and the stars have to align to make it worth it. And we hope that this will be the first, or I guess the beginning of some very more frequent visits for us. But our American tour schedule is chaotic enough
Hmm.
as it is, and
Yeah.
so it just makes it tough. But we definitely will enjoy our time over there. Very much looking forward to it. Trey, you guys are good friends of ours, so we're just stoked to have some time with them.
Yeah. What's it like traveling that far? And then you got to go, obviously, you have to get used to a whole new schedule and then play shows and be energetic for people. So just what's it like just taking a toll on your body just to go do a tour like that?
It sucks, dude.
Does
Yeah. I mean,
it?
it's the longest you can travel in human existence,
Mhm.
right? Like the flight from Dallas, which is where the band used to live, to Sydney is the longest flight in the entire world. It's like
Okay.
23
Oh my
hours straight on one airplane. So it's really crazy, but it's just one of the things that we do, and you
God.
just try to make the most of the actual travel time. I got that Apple Vision Pro thing, so I'll
Okay.
put that on and hopefully feel like I'm in a different world for a little bit of the flight.
That's awesome. And Maddie, last question I got for you, man. It's a question I like to ask anybody comes on for the first time. When I was up working in Wisconsin, used to be a blog post about your favorite complete albums of all time, your favorite no skip records. This used to be a blog post I used to do, and just love getting people's answers on this. 'Cause it was a little bit different, but some of your favorite no skip records of all time.
Yeah, Blindside Silence
Okay.
would be a huge one for me. Um, I would say Terminal, How the Lonely Keep. Um, Norma Jean, Bless the Martyr, Kiss the Child. Um, yeah, I could kind of go on
Yeah.
all day long. How long do you want me to go
Dude,
on?
if you got a few more, man, if you want to throw a few more out there, feel free. I mean,
Yeah,
some people have like I interviewed the guys in Under Oath last year, and like they just took over and just talked to themselves for like 2.5 minutes. And I just kind of sat there and just kind of watched them. It was entertaining. But yeah, dude, if you got a few more, man, feel free to throw them out there.
yeah, for sure, man. Well, let's just say Under Oath to Find the Great Line.
All
That
right.
record shaped so much of the genre. It's definitely and we just played with them a couple nights
Okay.
ago for the
Nice.
for the They're Only Chasing Safety 20-year show. Anberlin was on it, so we played and I got to watch them live, and they're just better than ever before, man. It was so sick. Um, yeah, dude, I would say Metallica the Black Album, definitely a non-skip,
Yeah.
obviously. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of ones that people wouldn't say, but that's a non-skipper. Um, yeah, yeah, let's roll with those.
Okay. I got one more question. I lied. You got one more question because you brought something up now, and I want to get your opinion on it. So obviously, Treyu's doing 20th anniversary cycle. You just mentioned Under Oath in 20 years. Is it kind of wild to you that like Linkin Park Hybrid Theory next year is 25, Infest is 25 next year, The Sickness is 25 next year? Is that kind of am I the only one this is wild to you? Like I know millennials now, like some of our records are now like 25 years old. Is that kind of wild to you?
It's very
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, it's extremely wild. And Amberlin is doing 20-year tour for Never Take Friendship Personal. And I'm obviously singing for that whole
Yeah.
tour. Is like and I'll just add that to my list of
Fair.
non-skip albums. So it's just it's a cool time. It makes you feel thankful for music and it makes you feel old all at the same
Yeah,
time.
exactly. So again, Memphis May Fire, your guys' next record, Shapeshifter, is out March 28th. Maddie, dude, I appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man, and thank you all for listening.